I don't know how old you are, if you're younger, maybe you're older. Like if you want to learn something or learn about something, like just half the time all you just gotta do is pay attention, ask questions. Everything is figure outable. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So tonight I'm trying to work my mind through a little bit of what I'll be doing at the house as far as like a floor plan. Now that I'm kind of got everything demoed and torn out and kind of am working towards putting stuff back in, maybe trying to get my mind wrapped around what's possible, what's feasible, what this house can look like. It's not a huge place, so we're going to take a look at floorplanner.com is actually what I'm using. And if you see, I can show you my screen here, I think, as it loads. Exactly what I'm doing. So I made a little bit of a mock-up. You can see here, this is the downstairs. These are rough estimates. I mean, I took a tape measure, but they're not precise, I guess is what I'm saying. So this is about 20 feet, and then this is about 23 feet from inside to inside. What's kind of interesting about the house is all the plumbing currently is in this corner. So this is an electric hot water heater in this corner. If you see it in the videos, I just tore out those like last week or something like that, 2 weeks ago. So all the water entrance and exit to the house is basically in this corner. And that comes down and goes like this out towards the road, which would be somewhere over here. Not everything is quite to scale in this, because again, I forget the exact measurements for like these windows, but I know there's window, 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 and then another window here. So those aren't exact, and I'm kind of annoyed with myself for not having those and some of the other things. But again, this is just to get a frame of mind of where I'm going with it. So really, you walk in, and again, this isn't the right door, but it's close to the size that I have. I think maybe like if I click this window, I can slide it down a little bit, and I can slide this door down a little bit. I think that's a little more roughly what it'll look like. You park out here, you come into the house, and it's a small house, and it looks big kind of from this angle. But if we go over here and hit the 3D button, and you have to forgive me, this site is super user friendly, but you have to be a good friendly user in order to use it. So if we jump in the house, again, the windows aren't that big or that nice, so keep that in mind. But you'll see that it's really not that huge of a space. So I'm trying to figure out how to make this comfortable, how to make this livable, and we'll go over a couple questions as far as some plans or some thoughts for the house in general. I know you guys have asked quite a few questions in the comments, and I'm hoping to address some of those, some of the common ones that I've seen. I went through and picked a bunch of them out. But really, you walk in the door, this is kind of the kitchen. I should put a fridge here. I have to do that in the 2D, whatever. But a fridge will go here. I'll have the sink, have the stove, ideally a little bit of counter space here, and then the big counter for everything else here. I don't think I really have enough room for a dining room table. So that's what this is for here, to put some stools up against for eating at, making this kind of the table. And then jump over here. So this is it from this angle. Again, these windows are a lot smaller. This is the hot water heater spot and a bunch of the plumbing from the bathroom, which will be directly above this. This is kind of the thought for the living room, and I just threw some furniture in here. It's not too beautiful, but you could wall mount the TV, you could put the sofa wherever. Like, it's all trivial to me right now, but This is the circuit breaker. I put that there. It's not really a circuit breaker, but I put whatever the heck it was, some sort of, there you go, fire heater, put it backwards and made it smaller. Because I didn't want to forget that there's a circuit breaker on the wall that I can't cover up or make impossible to get to. My beam, which we are hoping to do something else about in the future. But this is the house. Again, it's not super big, and this is just the downstairs, if I can figure out. One of the big issues, I guess, that I'm trying to figure out with this house is how I want the stairs, which ways I want the stairs to go. Currently, they come down like so, and that's roughly how they were originally when I took them out. They came down like this, and the platform actually, platform sat higher, and there was an extra stair, so these aren't perfectly to scale of what they would be. So I'm imagining that this step would be closer to out here. This is just the prefab staircase that they had. Oops, I don't want to move that. And because the stairs that were in the house weren't code as far as rise and run, that is how high the steps were and how wide the steps were, these ones are going to slope not so, they won't be so steep. So it's going to take more room from this point to this point, because if they're steeper, they would only come up into here. So if I come here, create a new project, project 2, fixer, upper, upstairs, start project. Wizard. Let's start over. This thing has no door. This is where I started with the other one. It has a window here, but they're not quite as big. How do I? Dimension A is the blue. That was 23 feet. Dimension B is the green, and that was roughly 20 feet. So, right? So that should lay on top of what we have downstairs. Now I could just go back to this one and go back and add a floor, but that that costs money. So I'm just doodling around here and trying to figure this out. So I'm gonna put the windows at, I want to say 3 foot, but I think I made the downstairs like 2'6", just because I wasn't sure. So we'll make 2'6". It seems a little small, but we'll just roll with it. I'm not on that. Room height, it's gonna be 8 foot in the middle. Next, living room. Yeah, let's just start with an empty room. Come on. Oh. Okay, so boom, window, duplicate. Boom, window, duplicate. There's another one over here. Boom, duplicate. The bathroom. I don't think, I know there's not any on this wall. I don't think there's any on this wall. I think there's just the 4. Toilet. That's not a toilet. But we'll take a basic vanity unit. Want that. A toilet. This looks like a normal toilet. I'm gonna put normal toilet here. I do rotate it like that. That's roughly where it was when I took it out. Oops. So, and there's a little bit of a wall. It has to go there. This guy has to rotate here. We're putting him like this. Okay, so, sorry guys, I gotta put in some sort of flooring. This is ridiculous. I don't know. I don't want the upstairs flooring to be. All looks the same. PVC canvas. Good enough. Okay, so this is what we have. And again, it feels super small. And this isn't at all what it's going to feel like, because there's a 4-foot wall, because my joists come in from roughly here and angle up towards the 8-foot. Maybe more like that. So this is all going to be sheetrocked. And this is all going to be sheetrocked. Same thing on this side. So I'm trying to create a bathroom, and at least a bedroom. It was originally 1 bathroom and 2 bedrooms. So it's possible. And I'm convinced this tub is really big. So I'm not too concerned. Whatever this is called, a shower, and the toilet was here, but maybe I can manipulate this a little bit. Push this out. So this is basically what the upstairs was before. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. The bathroom was directly above all the plumbing here. So the bathroom is in this corner where, remember, all the water comes in and goes out. So that made the plumbing really easy because it was all in the same spot. There wasn't any running anything around anywhere crazy. So that was nice. It is nice. So I plan to keep that. So one of my questions that I had for you guys that you could help me with is, because it's so small, should I make it a 1 bedroom or should I keep it 2? Because I could potentially, there's no walls right here right now. This is all one big open space. And you got to remember that it's not square. What I mean by that is, where am I? Okay. So if the stairs come up here, this is the bathroom. This is bedroom 1. This is bedroom 2. This wall, there's no 90-degree here because of the joists and the way the house is. Don't know if I can do it on this software, but it goes from here up to the corner at an angle. So this is all going to be an angle all through here, all through here. In fact, this is going to be at an angle here, which honestly makes through the bathroom a hard, difficult, annoying thing, because I don't even remember what the shower looked like, where the shower was, because I actually dropped the angle further down because I added those 2x10. So it's 10 inches lower. The ceiling's 10 inches lower than what it was before, at least on this edge. So that is what I'm going to be fighting here in the bathroom, saying, okay, I'm not going to have the headroom that I want for this shower to be here because this wall is going to be angled, right? Maybe it means taking the shower, rotating it, and putting the shower up against this wall, maybe doing away with the window peering into the shower, and then taking the toilet and spinning it, something to this effect. So if we moved this here, we probably potentially could put the shower head here and have enough room, and then this could be closet, storage, shower stuff area. The toilet would be here. That makes sense, straight across from the vanity, and that makes sense. All the plumbing's still roughly in the same area, which is good. So maybe that's what I'll do. So this is the downstairs. This is where I'm at. My thing is, I don't think there's many other ways I can rearrange the house, except, again, maybe just making a one-bedroom house, but that more so matters with the purpose of the house. So I went through the comments and picked out some questions that have been kind of repeatedly or commonly asked throughout the past couple weeks or even more that I really haven't addressed. I've kind of been trying to save them. I answered some of them, but I want to answer them for everybody. So one of the questions that I get quite a bit is, roughly, like, where is the house? What's the purpose? What am I doing with the house? So you see on the map behind me, I live in, this is a map of New York. So the city is down here. It's not actually on the map, New York City. This is the Adirondack Park. I live way up here somewhere, way up north, 25 minutes or so, depending on who's driving to Canada. So the house is in Malone, New York. What is it for? So all you guys have asked what my intentions with the house are, if I'm gonna live in it, if it's for like my family, and the answers to that is no. So I would never bought it with the whole purpose of living in it myself. I hope one day to have a different to do this with another house that I would live in. Like, that's a cool dream of mine. But I'm not. This house, because it's so small, I feel like my family has already outgrown it. And we knew that when we bought it, that it was already a little too small for us where we're at with 3 kids. And we actually have 3 dogs, if you didn't know that. And we've got 4 rabbits, and we used to have chickens, and my wife's trying to get me to buy chickens again. Anyway, so what is it for? Is it just a flip? Is it a rental? And that's a good question. I go back and forth through a lot of ideas. Normally what I tell people is it depends on where I'm at when I'm done with it. If I'm ready just to wipe my hands clean and be done, I'll probably just flip it and sell it. If I'm not there, then I'll probably possibly use it as a rental. So both of those are kind of up in the air. I had thought about like using Airbnb or Vrbo. And so those were kind of possibilities for a little while. They take a lot more initial financial investment because you have to buy all the furniture and all the fixings for the house. And so again, that kind of depends on where I'm at by the time I finish the house. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think at this point, it'll likely be a flip. I'll likely sell it for something else or something more or whatever in the future. I don't anticipate that being as soon as I had hoped, which is fine. But all in saying that is, I know there's a tendency for flip houses to be like all jacked up and for things to be trash or things to be cheaply done, and because they just want to make as much money as they can, and buy it super cheap, fix it for as cheap as you can, and sell it for as much as you can. I understand what they're going for, and I understand that, but that's not my goal with this house, and I hope you guys may have latched on to that by now. I'm trying to figure out what they did wrong and fix it, and there's been quite a few things that people have screwed up, which is fine. Really, it's my project house. It's kind of my experiment house. If this is something I enjoy, something I like doing, even if there's something I want to continue to do, it was never. Initially there was a lot of potential in my mind for financial gain, like as far as buying it cheap and fixing it and selling it and making a profit off of it. But I think I've quickly realized that my mindset has changed into it being more of a learning experience for me. So this goes back to another question that I've been asked quite a few times. What's my background? Do I have construction background? Do I do construction full time? Like, who the heck am I? I'm not a construction worker. I actually am a youth pastor. So I have some construction background, meaning in high school, coming out of high school, I did some construction work with one guy, and then ended up working for another guy doing primarily concrete. So I did concrete for a couple of years with him, and he was like top notch, best boss, super high quality, super particular, amazing guy to work for in every way. So he taught me a lot about just the general construction and of foundations and concrete. And really, most everything else I've just picked up along the way. I've helped people with roofs when I was younger. I've helped people reframe some odds and ends of their houses and do little things here and there. Really, I've just paid attention. And I don't know how old you are. If you're younger, maybe you're older. Like, if you want to learn something or learn about something, like, just half the time all you just got to do is pay attention, ask questions. Now, half the time when we did concrete, we do the foundations and the walls, and then they would frame the whole house in, and we come back later to do like the basement floor, to pour the floor. And after you pour the floor, you can't just keep working it. You have to give it time to set up before you come back and trowel it again. So there were times where we weren't really doing a whole lot. So I just walk around upstairs and talk to some of the carpenters or the framers or the general contractor, or just walk around and inspect the work. Like, okay, what are these studs doing? Like, what are headers, and how are headers framed out for windows or for garage doors, or those kinds of things. How thick are these? How big are these? And so I just ask a lot of questions and just observe a lot of things. Like, what's the difference between a load-bearing wall and non-load-bearing wall? Well, it's easy to tell when everything's just framed up as just studs. So you kind of learn that just by paying attention and asking questions. Same thing with like electrical and plumbing, like just little things I've kind of picked up and learned. I'm no expert in any of this stuff. Nothing in electrical, no expertise in plumbing, no expertise in roofing. But most everything I've learned, especially in today's age with the internet, is most everything's figure outable. Most stuff you can pick up, you can learn if you're willing and you're diligent. So that's more or less where I've learned everything. So yeah, growing up, and my dad was an engineer, so I could ask him a lot of questions, and he usually knew some pretty good answers. Though he had never like done everything with his hands, he could tell you kind of how it was put together and how much you needed to actually hold stuff up. Anyway, that's kind of how I learned everything. Again, just paying attention, being a helper, not afraid to be the laborer, just running around grabbing stuff and bringing it back, and watching these guys frame up walls, watching these guys put shingles on, watching these guys put in step flashing on the roofs. Just again, if you pay attention and you ask questions, like, that's how you learn. And it doesn't have to be with just construction. It would be with most anything. How do you write a song? Pay attention to the words. Pay attention to the rhythm. Pay attention to the key changes. Pay attention to whatever it may be. Like just be observant. How do you write a book? Well, pay attention to the characters. Pay attention to the climax. Pay attention to the drop off. To the again. Everything is figure outable. Ask questions. Anyway, I don't need to get into that anymore. Where's the house? What's your plan? Is it for you? Again, this is just an experiment on some level, a project to see where we go with this. Again, learning all this stuff hands-on. I've seen a lot of it done, but seeing it done and actually trying to do it are two completely different things a lot of the time. What's your trade? I talked about that. Did I grow up here? No, I didn't grow up. Again, we moved up here 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, to take on this position at this church that we're at. How is the table? Table's good, works good. It's not done yet. I will be working on a second video at some point of me finishing our dining room table. Started that 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. Hoping to button that up in the near future. If you guys have other questions about us, about me, about the house, let them fly. Like, throw them in the comments section. I might not get to replying to all of them or many of them, but as I kind of advance further in the house, I'll try to bring up some of the answers to the videos, because it's likely you're not the only one asking the question. So yeah, let me know what you think of the house. Let me know what you think of the design. There's not many things I can alter or do, and this isn't precise, so it's kind of annoying. I get that, but at least you guys can now have a little bit better idea of where it is we're actually going with this place, and hopefully a little bit more of how the finished project's gonna look. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. Subscribe if you haven't. Would really appreciate that. Drop a comment, drop a like. Go catch up on any videos you haven't seen yet. And you guys have a good one. Thanks.